So here we go again. So we all remember Jordan. We all know Jordan Neely, the situation that's going on in New York City, where you have protests. New York City is in the uproar right now. But we all seen the video of Jordan Neely that was strangled to death by a 24-year-old white Marine. So now the black conservatives are out in full force defending this guy and trying to discredit Jordan Neely. They're talking about his arrest record and all these things. But we all saw what we saw. I'm going to let you hear a couple of these conservatives and then I'll come back. So let's come right back.
All right, guys. So we have to continue with our coverage of the Jordan Neely situation, a.k.a. the left's George Floyd 2.0. However, I got a feeling that the case of Jordan Neely is going to be closed pretty quickly, because to me, just based on the circumstances, if you guys didn't know, Jordan Neely was a homeless man who was arrested over 40 times, including for assaulting an elderly woman in the face, okay? The guy has a history of assaulting people, of harassing people in New York City, in subway stations, and he ended up getting choked out by a white veteran. Now, if you guys have seen the video, it wasn't just the white veteran holding the guy down. There was also a couple other men there who seemed to be helping hold down Jordan Neely as well, which to me suggests that he probably was a threat, okay? That he probably was harassing people, since multiple men felt the need to try to hold him down. And it's not like anybody had a real issue with the veteran basically taking matters into his own hands and stopping the threat. I think everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard thus far when it comes to this incident, to me, signals that this is more than justified and that this guy definitely was a threat. But at the end of the day, I don't know. And I'm not afraid to say I don't know. I want to wait and see what information comes out before I actually make up my mind in regards to this situation. However, that has not stopped the race hustlers of America from coming out here in full force and crying racism, okay? This is systemic racism. This is just another example of a white man getting away with murdering black folks, okay? Like this person right here, Miss Olayemi Olurin, okay, who is a political commentator for The Hill, I believe. I mean, she's appeared on The Hill, okay? And this is what she had to say. She says, "I'm going to say this plainly as humanly possible. America is a racist country with racist leaders, institutions, plus media. Jordan Neely is dead because a white man, the white man, wanted to kill a black man, and that white man is free because white America is glad he."
So again, you hear this black conservative saying that, you know, he went into all his arrest record and basically defended the Marine, but then said, well, I can't really. Then he tried to backtrack and say that he can't say for sure. I mean, it's just a bunch of foolishness. But then Candace Owens, here she go again. Candace Owens always crawls from under her rock whenever something, you know, we always remember what she, in the George Floyd situation, what she did with George Floyd. But a lot of y'all don't know that Candace Owens herself experienced a racist situation in college where she had to take some white men to court. And she needed the NAACP to help her. But now, this is how she returns the favor. I mean, you know, Candace Owens has a history. So Candace Owens, she goes in. Let's listen to Candace Owens and then we'll come right back.
Because I'm not feeling very compassionate about Jordan Neely, and that shouldn't surprise you. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about why it is that we suddenly exist in a society where mentally well people are being told that they need to yield to mentally ill when a crazy person enters and says that they don't care what happens to them. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I've been in those circumstances when you confront somebody, when you are confronted from somebody who is a crazy person on the subways. As you know, I lived in New York City for 7 years, and you don't know what they're going to do next. Now, before we get into more of a Jordan Neely story, let me tell you that the idea that homeless people are just suffering and all they want is some food is complete and utter bullshit. Okay? In these circumstances, 9 out of 10 times you are dealing with individuals that are drug-addled maniacs, okay? They didn't end up in the streets because they just couldn't pay their rent. Typically, they ended up in the streets because, as I said, they have a steep history of mental illness. They've been on drugs. They were willing, you've seen Intervention on A&E, right? They were willing to abandon their family and their friends for the next hit. That is the average homeless person in New York City. They are not somebody to be feeling bad for. They are somebody to be fearful of. That is the truth. That is the truth that the Democrats on the left do not want you to acknowledge because it's coddle culture. They want you to feel bad every time you see a maniac that is threatening to harm you. So a man who was a off-duty journalist, his name is Juan Vasquez, recounts exactly what took place as he was on this subway on his way to Yonkers at about 2:30 p.m. on a Monday. And here is what he had to say in his own words. Take a listen.
The man began shouting, quote, "I want food. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm ready to go back to jail, and I'll hurt anyone on this train."
The man got on the subway car and began to say a somewhat aggressive speech, saying that he was hungry, he was thirsty, and he didn't care about anything. He didn't care about going to jail, that he didn't care that he gets a big life sentence, and it doesn't matter if he died.
Vasquez says he was scared and believes others on the train were too. That's when he says a 24-year-old rider came up behind the man and put him in a chokehold, holding him there on the ground. 2 other men standing over them also helped subdue the man.
If there was fear, the people who were bluish or who were there, where he separated everything, moved from their place. I stayed sitting in my place because it was a little further away. But obviously those moments, well, one thinks fear, one thinks he may be armed.
He says that chokehold lasted about 15 minutes, even with the train stopped at one point at the Broadway Lafayette station and the doors open.
Well, most of the people left. If they open the door, the train separates and it leaves. Almost all the people just stayed. The ones who were there on the floor fighting, a couple who was standing in front of them stayed.
Vasquez says no one thought the man would die, even after he went limp. EMS arrived and performed CPR, but he could not be revived.
I think no one thought that he was in a risky situation because he was defending himself all the time. All the time he moved. He tried to remove his arm, and then when they had it on his side, he kept kicking. So he thought that he's defending himself.
So he said, quote, "I'll hurt anyone on this train," according to Juan Vasquez, who was there. "I will hurt anyone on this train." And Juan Vasquez says that he, a grown adult man, felt fear because a rational mind would feel fear if a person who looked like a vagrant jumped onto a train and said that they were willing to go to prison, that they didn't.
So as you can see, Candace Owens, and then you had a witness that was there that talked about what this man, he came onto the train. I guess he was going in one of his mentally ill situations, and he was saying he was hungry and he was thirsty, and the guy ran up behind him and choked him. And this is my thing, as I said before. Okay, I don't know the situation that was on the train, but if the guy ran up on him and grabbed him and choked him, I'm not even mad at that. I'm mad at the fact that we got a chance to watch a video where the man is choking this man for 15 minutes and people are holding him. At what point do somebody tap the man on the arm and say, okay, ease up, just keep grabbing him, but ease up off the throat. Just ease up off the throat. We'll keep him subdued until the police come. And this is the thing to these black conservatives. You guys want white acceptance so bad. You want white acceptance so bad that you'll go to any lengths. You saw the video. It doesn't matter if he had 40 arrests or whatever he had in his mental ill state. That 24-year-old Marine didn't know him, didn't know nothing about him. He don't know anything. So when he grabbed him, I don't see how you guys can justify. Just the same as you, Candace Owens, you justify what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd. We saw the video. None of the police came over and said, all right, partner, that's enough. He's handcuffed, let him go. You got the audacity. At what point, how do we hold these people accountable? It's to the point where it's just disgusting now. It's disgusting. I'm not saying that if the people on the train was a little afraid that he shouldn't have been subdued, but murder, this is downright murder. Candace Owens, these conservatives, y'all seen the video. I won't say that. Y'all seen the video. He held this man in a chokehold for 15 minutes. And black folks are justifying this. You have black folks that are justifying. And this is why it's so hard for us to actually make moves or do anything, because you have so many black people, man, with so much self-hate. And a lot of you black people out there, you hate your people more than what the man told you, more than the man himself. Our historical oppressor. You hate your own people more than him. To the point where you can clearly see that this was a direct violation. And you overlook it. But leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about these black conservatives. These black conservatives, man, they go too far. Let me know what you think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.